Well, good morning, Gators. It is May 19th, and this is your math lesson for today. I will give you 3 code words today to remember, so be sure to be listening for those as we do our learning. And they might not be what you would think, might have something to do with what's behind me, but it might not. So let's switch over to the iPad so we can start our learning for the day. First off, as always, we do have our daily math practice, and I'm going to move my iPad up just a hair. There we go. And number 1, we are doing 296 times 3.04. Number 2, we are doing some division with 3 different problems. Number 3, what is the area? Remember, area is oops, if it helps if I get my pen works. Area equals length times width. So you're gonna have to figure out how to do this. You might have to cut the shape into multiple different shapes and then add them together. Hint, hint, hint. And the first code word of the day is Nintendo. Number 4, we are doing some subtraction with mixed numbers. Remember, when you subtract fractions, you must first find a common denominator to be able to subtract them. And number 5, if each person at a picnic drinks 710 milliliters of soda, how many 2-liter bottles are needed for 10 people? So you're going to want to first see how many milliliters total they have drank and then figure out how many liters are needed. Next up on our word problem of the day, Josh was waiting at the airport to leave on his vacation. Josh, I hope you have a good time there, dude. When a heavy storm came through, 3/4 of the flight were canceled that day, including Josh's. Oh no, Josh, what are you gonna do? There were 396 flights scheduled that day, so how many planes were able to leave the airport? Now that reminds me of the second code word, switch. So first one was something, second one was switch. Now for our learning today, we are going to do some more practice with exponents, because I did notice that a few people had some issues with the exponents, so I wanted to make sure that we do understand how to do this really well. Remember, you can use exponential notation to write a number that is being multiplied by itself. There are 2 parts in exponential notation. The base tells you what factor is being multiplied, and the exponent tells you how many of that factor should be multiplied together. The exponent is not a factor. The exponent is not a factor. So if we have 8 squared, that's 8 to the little 2, 8 squared. That is 8 times 8. So 8 squared is 8 times 8. That's what this 2 means. 1, 2. This does not mean, and I've said it over and over and over again, 8 squared does not equal 16. It is not 8 times 2. It is also not 10. It is not 8 plus 2. It's 8 times 8. So the way you can think about it is 8 2 times, meaning 8 1 time, 2 time. So let's not get that confused. I did see a few people yesterday still getting that confused, which means you did not watch the video. So we need to watch the video. And we can write it in 2 other ways. Expanded form is when you write it out, which means 8 squared in expanded form is 8 times 8. And in standard form, which means you write out the product, so for 8 squared is 64, because 8 times 8 is 64. Again, that's standard form. Now, Another thing I noticed yesterday is people were not following the directions. If it says to write it in exponential notation, that means you write it like this. If it says to write it in expanded form, that means you write it like this. And if it's asking you to write it in standard form, it is like that. So make sure you are not getting those confused on what you are supposed to do. So your practice on number 1, write it in exponential notation. Number 2, expanded. Number 3, standard. And number 7, you have a word problem. Now, as we keep going, it's just going to be more practice of this today through all the way down. And after you are done with this, you will have a quiz today. Now, on that quiz, you might have a few silly questions as well. So make sure you're paying attention to those questions to have a little bit of fun. And the third of the 4th code words is. So Gators, we want to make sure that you are reaching out for help if you need it. We want to make sure that you are getting everything done as you need to get them done. And then we will take it all from there. The last code word is great. So remember the 4 code words. I'm not going to repeat them again. You do need to watch the whole video to get all of them in order to get some help. And with that, Gators, I will talk to you guys later.